Hello again. Good afternoon. This is DJ Straight coming to you again from Praise in the Closet Studio. And I am so honored today that we have a very special guest. And let me say this. Let me apologize for the last several shows. There were some technical issues that I was not aware of. But prayerfully, not hopefully, prayerfully, we've got this straight. But I want to bring on a young lady today who was the second female firefighter for Baltimore City and the first female fire inspector from Baltimore City, none other than Miss Yvette Muhammad. Let me tell you something. Hello, Yvette, Sister Yvette Muhammad. How are you today?
I'm fine, ma'am, and you?
I am doing wonderful. Listen, I can brag about you very much, and this is the first time that we have seen each other face to face. I met you through several Zoom calls last year, and I was so impressed because you're an avid reader. But what I wanted to do today is I wanted to open you up to, let me say, the city, the country, the nation, the world, because when you told me what you did as a career, I'm like, wow, that's great. So in my notes, it says that you're the second female firefighter for Baltimore City and the first female fire inspector for Baltimore. So let me start out asking you this. What made you want to be a firefighter, first of all?
Well, as a little girl, I grew up in a community called Westport. It's a housing project. And I used to see the firehouse, and I was always curious as to what went on inside the house. And they didn't have their doors open. It wasn't even inviting, but it kind of, piqued my curiosity. And as when I became a firefighter, and left the academy, you get assigned to different houses. And I finally went to Engine 58. That's the engine it was. And I went down there, detail, and I think I was nursing my second son. So I carried my breast pump with me and everything. And I got inside that house and I said, it's a rinky dink firehouse. I I wanted the curiosity had me looking at this firehouse the whole time I was little, and I thought it was something spectacular because doors were closed. I got in there, I said, "Oh my God, this is a little winky dink firehouse." And
Okay.
so I was there for a day, and I stayed downstairs. I never went upstairs in this house at all. I told him I'll take the cop watch. I'll be downstairs because I had nowhere to express my milk. So I stayed down there and I took the watch, and I stayed down there the whole time. But this one man, he kept following me about my milk and asking me questions about it. So I was definitely afraid to leave my milk around this man. I said he looked like he might drink my baby milk. So I had an ice pack in my bag that I would express and put it down in the bag so this person wouldn't get to it. I would have ordinarily put it in the refrigerator or put it in the freezer, but I mean he just was kind of weird. And I said, no, he not going to drink my baby's milk. And because he asked me about why it was the color it was. He was really curious about it, but I was like, no, it just freaked me out. So
Okay, so let me ask you this. Were you one of the first African American firefighters in the city of Baltimore, female? Did that have something to do with that, you think?
well, absolutely, I was. Yes, ma'am. It was the first three females to come into the academy were all African American, and was Andrea, me, and Vernice.
So
And so, yeah.
talk about that. How was it hard getting in? Talk about some of the opposition and
Let
reward.
me. Yes, ma'am. To go through the academy is was very hard to make it through the academy. First, even to pass the test. To pass the test is very mechanically inclined. And I never thought I was a mechanically inclined person, but I must have been because I could figure out things like if they
Okay.
show you a cog wheel and if it was spinning to the left, what would the other cog wheel be doing? So I kind of like in my mind would answer the questions that way. And and I did really well on the test. But to go through the agility test, we had to um, take a 75-pound dummy and run from the bottom of, it was called Memorial Stadium, run from the bottom of the stairs of Memorial Stadium up to the top with the 75-pound dummy. But the dummy was a duffel bag, army duffel bag filled with bricks. And so it had straps on it, so I thought I could put it on my back and go up there. They was like, "No, you gotta carry it." I said, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can do this." But then I'm always never gonna give up. I took
Good.
that bag and I ran from the bottom of those steps up to the top, back down to the bottom. I said, "Woo, got this one." So that was the first part of the agility test. Then we had to pick the 70-foot ladder and pick it from the ground, put it up on these hooks they had, makeshift hooks, and put it up there. So that shows your strength. Women don't have brute strength like men. We have lower body strength. So I had to use different strategies in order to make myself be able to do the job. So I'm never going to have the strength, upper body strength like a man, but I have
Mhm.
lower body strength because we bear children as women. So I had to pull a 75-foot hose from like maybe about 100 yards. You go
Mhm.
pick it up and put it over your shoulder and you run with it.
Did you and the other ladies work together? I think we had a little bit of signal issues on her end. She's a little bit frozen. And so listen, while she's frozen, if you have questions, you can text 202-322-2470, or you can ask your questions. And on Facebook Live, I want to I need to let her know that she is freezing up. Sister Yvette, you were froze up a little bit. She's having cell phone issues. And one of my other questions that I wanted to find out. Listen, she has such a great testimony. Not only was she a firefighter, but she's an avid book reader, and she can read a book and take notes, and she can tell you everything in that book. Her first time. Let me let her know that she is y'all. We are live. This is what happens when you get live. So let me text her, let her know that she is frozen, and hopefully that we don't have to postpone this for her to get in a different area. If we do, we'll try to come right back on today, if at all
Right. But
possible. But I wanted to interview her because everything. Are you back to see that? Uh-oh, she went out again. Yes. So I just texted her to let her know that she was frozen. But listen, just as I am interviewing her, if you all, for those that are listening in the audience, if you all want to participate on any of the shows that we have, go to wgmlb.com and send me an email. Send me an email and just say, hey, I want to either participate in 1 hour aloud. I want to read. We do have a 5-minute prayer. We have a scripture. And this particular show is What's Your Passion? Meaning, is your career your passion or your hobby your passion? And also we have something called open mic, where I give you 30 minutes to talk about anything you want. So that's what we'll do while she is trying to get back in. Okay, try again. We are live, you all. Again, I have learned from last year up to this year, technology really will embarrass you, especially in opportune times, even on TV, national stations. I've seen them freeze up. She's trying to get back in. Let's see if I can let her back in to the studio. Sister Yvette?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're back in. So I was just telling people about your avid reader. Before you went out, one of my questions was, because it was only three of you all that were African American, did you guys work together? And then just talk about some of the opposition you had and how you overcame, and then what led you to try for the fire chief.
Fire inspector, but not the
The
chief.
fire inspector. I'm sorry, I keep saying chief, but I'm saying tell us how you guys work together. If that was a if that, or maybe you all didn't. I don't know. But go ahead. The
No,
floor is yours.
ma'am. No, ma'am. We all were at different firehouses, and so you had to carry your own weight. And so I had no other example to tell me what to do, um, as what to do. And you would think it's a lot of men in the fire department, so they didn't try to give me any help. If they couldn't, you just had to flounder yourself. And so I just did it myself. I'm a mother and I had to raise my son. And then I wound up having three more sons while I was still in the fire department. And I was still able to be a mother and to nurse my children, um, and just do everything that I could as a mother and go home. The shift that they work now is like 24/7. I could never work that shift now and be a mom because I didn't have that kind of support for my children to watch my children. So I'm glad that I retired. I've been retired almost 18 years now. So it's
Wow.
amazing that, and I spent 23 years as a career in that career. So um, when I would maybe become a fire inspector, one day I was in firehouse and I got a call from Chief Clyde Smith, and he said, Yvette, he said, why didn't you fill out for fire inspector? Well, I had been on vacation. So I said, I didn't know anything about it, sir. He said, well, put your application in. He said, and I said, no, I think I like being a firefighter. So he said, Yvette, put the application in. I said, well, Chief, I'm looking at it and it says that the position is closed. So nobody must have, of the females, of the three of us, none of us had applied for that position.
Was
So
that apprehension because you just didn't think you were going to get it, or you
it
just
was,
didn't?
um, I want to say I was apprehensive about it because I didn't know anything about what it was to be a fire inspector. So that was my only apprehensive. When we got in the classroom, a lot of reading, a lot of studying, and I said, okay, I think I can do this. And I still had a legacy when I retired
Okay.
almost 6 years after I had left. And they said, the inspectors that would meet me, they would say, girl, every time we go somewhere, a hospital, a nursing home, uh, adult daycare centers, they still talk about you. And I said, well, they can keep on talking about me because I'm not coming back. So that was I was adamant about that. I was not going back. And as you're in the firehouse, it's like your home. You cook, you eat, you sleep there. So for me, I didn't have conversations with a lot of the guys in my station. I would read. And my mother is a reader, and my mother taught me to love her books. And so that's why I like to read. So,
So let me
and
ask
then
you this: as the time went on in the firehouse, did you guys, did you all eventually talk, or did you all become, like you say, you eat, you sleep, and all that type of stuff? Where was there some kind of relationship or foundation built? Because, and talk about some of the fires that you had to go to, like maybe what one of your worst fires was, or your first time that you went to to a fire? What was your responsibility? Because everybody has the holes and this and whatever, whatever. What was your responsibility?
Well, I had the hose, and so my first fire, I go in, and we it's a basement fire, and so you have your lieutenant, then it's me, and we go in, and I go down the basement, and I put the fire out, because I mean I got the hose, so I got the water, and I always wanted to have the hose and carry the water because I
Okay, let's see. She's telling us, for those who are on, she's telling us about her first fire experience. Yes, let's see. We are live. All right. Let's. Oops. Okay. She for those looking. She's on her cell phone. So maybe a bit of advice to others is, if you can use a computer, or if you're on a cell phone, you might want to kind of shift. We did meet prior, a few minutes just before, and everything was fine. But again, you got to do what technology tells you to do. So I'm going to take her out, and then I'm going to add her back in as soon as I think she's ready to come in. But anyway, this is very interesting. And for you all that have young girls and grandchildren, this is somebody that has actually went through that experience. We may never meet Kamala Harris. We may never meet a Kamala Harris. We probably didn't meet Shirley Chisholm and some Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman. We didn't meet people who already went through those experiences, but we were able to read about them in the history book. And I was telling Sister Yvette, she is a part of history. The fact that she was one of the first 3 African American fire chiefs. I mean, I keep calling her a chief. One of the first 3 persons in the Baltimore City Fire Department, and then not only that, to become a fire inspector. And we're going to get into that again as soon as she gets back on. But again, you all might want to share this with some other young girls or teenagers, or even people that are in their 30s and 40s, because there are many people who go along through life and don't know really what it is that they want to do. Yes, we need jobs, and thankfully we can retire from jobs, but this is what this program is about. What's your passion, your career, or your hobby? What is it that you need to, that drives you? Some of us have need jobs. We need jobs to do our passions and our hobbies. And then some people have turned their hobbies into their passions, or turned their hobbies into, what's making them finances. So, okay, she's trying to come back. She's trying to come back in, but it's great. I think this is something that everybody can talk about. And if you know any men or any children, matter of fact, we got a great youth show that's coming up soon. Anxious, I'm talking to the host some point in time this week. But it's a good thing. For what's your passion? For those that are out there listening, text me 202-322-2470, or you can email Gospel Music Lovers Buffet at any time, and I will respond to your email if you have suggestions for shows, or if you have hot topics. Our open mic is wide open, and at the end of the month, the last Tuesday of every month, we want to have what like we're doing now, an impromptu session. I hope to have 3 panelists, and I will take any subject from the audience, and we're going to talk about that. We will not be, so it's like a game show almost, but that's what WGMLB is about. We are a Christian oriented radio station, and we play all genres of Christian music, from gospel to hip hop to bluegrass to country. I was on my way to Richmond a couple of days ago, and all I heard was bluegrass and contemporary, and I was clapping and loving that stuff, loving it because it's the words. Of course, I'm a musician, so I always listen for instrumentation. Um, but you can let's see. Yeah, I can't do that. Can't do what she wants to do. But yeah, so our station, we are open because we want to we want to enlighten people. One of my cousins retired from I think he was a light bulb inspector. You know, that's like, wow, I didn't know they had people like that. But listen, I'm in the light. You all use lights. Um, so that's what this radio station is about. I'm multitasking. I'm talking to you all, and then I'm also trying to respond to her text. So that, see, trying to get in. That's so, okay. What I may need to do is I may need to stop, and we come back and do this again when we can get on a computer. All right. Excuse me, you all. If not, we will cancel for today, and we'll come back when we have a better a better signal. So I thank you all for coming on. I'm going to wait for her response. But again, I'm talking about WGMLB wonderful gospel music lovers buffet. You know how it is when you go to a buffet, you have the fruits, the vegetables, the meats, the breads, the pies. This is what wonderful gospel music lovers buffet is. We are a smorgasbord. Okay, so I'm going to have to do something different with her interview. Let's see. I will try, and it's not going to work. What I'll do is, for those that are listening on, I will have to postpone and come back and try this another day in a different venue. I mean, not a different venue, but a different way of doing this so that we can get her story out. Again, I apologize. Let's see.
I,
I'm
I'm
going to
back
try.
on.
Okay, you're back in.
Yes.
Sister Yvette. Okay. I was so busy talking, I didn't even see you at the bottom. Okay, go for it.
Yes. Okay. So you asked me about my first fire. I'm not sure
Yes.
whether I was explained. I was in a basement and I was left by myself. And the next fire crew came in and they said, "Where's your company at?" And I said, "I don't know." But I mean, I prayed to Allah that every time I went into a fire that I would go in safe and come out safe. And I only had me to depend on. It wasn't like you said, did you have camaraderie? No, ma'am. I tried to go out of that house. I was in a company in Hamden. Hamden is very racist. And I tried to take every detail and leave out of that house as much as I could. Um, and I just felt like basically like I was alone. And
Why did they leave you by yourself?
uh, uh, I can't tell you why they did what they did. I mean, they were white men. I didn't have any other people on my shift that was like me or no other women on there.
You can handle that hose by
You
yourself?
know, yeah, you can handle the hose by yourself. And I had to
Wow.
handle the hose by myself. My life depended on that hose. Just like a soldier has his weapon, that's your becomes your best friend. So that hose was my best friend. And I always wanted to have the hose because I could depend on that hose to protect me. But I had a law all the time. I prayed all the time, going in and coming out.
Okay. Okay.
So no, I
Wow.
never got to be friends with these people. Never, never. They call it a brotherhood and a sisterhood. I didn't call it that. The brotherhood and sisterhood that I know of is the people that I'm in the Nation of Islam with. So I never called it a brotherhood or a sisterhood.
So how do you compare today's setup, the firehouse, the fire employee? Because I know you said they use you as a reference or to come and do some kind of advice or something. How can you compare today to what you had to go through?
I think today, well, they have separate separate areas for women now. As they built new firehouses, they
Hmm.
made an area, a separate sleeping area for the females and the bathrooms. When I was there, it was just
Everything was one. Okay. When you were when you were there, everything was one. Okay. That's amazing. I think that we're going to probably have to come out of this and do something different with her interview at another time. I may have to do an audio interview with her. Um, but this has been good. All right, I don't want any dead space. She's trying to come back in. Okay, but you all hear what she's talking about. Again, this is living history to me. She is a part of history for the city of Baltimore, and we've never seen her name in any papers or anything of that nature. Now she has made great stride because as I was talking to her prior to her coming on today, that they often come back and ask her, "Can you come back and either help us out, really like guidance or advice?" And that says a lot because if you all have picked this up, she is very dedicated to whatever it is she's doing. She stated at least 3 times basically quitting was not an option. She was not a quitter. She wasn't taught to quit, and she wasn't going to quit. And that is remarkable for her to have that type of attitude coming from that type of opposition. And so again, I think it's remarkable, and I keep saying that because we have one life to live, and sometimes we will have regrets that is not our fault because things were out of our control. And other times we'll have regrets because it's just something that we didn't do, or we didn't follow through. We didn't think we were good enough. We didn't have the right of self-esteem, and just different reasons why we may not have been able to obtain or achieve certain things we wanted to do. But here is a living example, a single mother. She said with one child, then she had three more. She was married at the time. Let me make that statement. She was married at the time, but however, she always kept her family as her focal point, stating that, hey, I don't have any jobs. I don't have another job. I have to maintain what I am doing, and that's something that I've always thought about when people on my job was getting on my nerve, and I wanted to walk out the door many times and quit. And then reality came on and said, okay, quit. God definitely is your provider, but why would you quit and you don't have anything else lined up? So reality soon came back into my mind head, and I came home and did what I needed to do, prayed, and then sometimes I just may have gone to sleep and thinking about what I was going to face the next day. But I can say in 36 years, yes, in 36 years, I know I don't look a day over 45. But in 36 years, I have never been without a job. I have never had to, you know, go without. So, Sister Yvette, I was telling them you were out that quitting was not an option for you. You were a single parent, and then you were married at one time. But all in all, your family was your focal point, and then you also had the drive to keep going to do that. So continue on, and you and I are going to talk again, but we may have to do our interview in a different way, or maybe change positions, like outside or something like that. And you would,
yes, ma'am.
yeah. But this is great. Okay, continue talking because we have a little few more minutes left.
Okay. Well, I never felt like I was home there. So, like people will tell you they at their company, they had they felt like family, but I never felt like family there. I just did my job to the best of my ability. And like you said, I'm not a quitter. I don't quit,
Hmm.
and I don't back down from anything, and I
Okay.
don't let people disrespect me. So I carry
Good.
myself with respect. And those men in the house, they can never tell you they saw me in be compromised or in a
Right.
compromising position. I just think that, when you look at females, you have to do the best that you can do. And you can do anything that you set your mind to. And it has nothing to do whether I'm a male or I'm a female. But if I can do the job, let me do my job. And and that's all I ever wanted, for somebody to say, you did a good job. And so, and I
What
try to
about
do
the uniforms? Were your
the
uniforms the same, or did they have?
uniforms are the same. There's nothing unisex about that uniform. You wear a pair of pants and you wear a shirt, and your turnout gear is universal turnout gear for firefighters.
Okay,
And
talk about the fire when you became the fire inspector. How did you get there? Again, did you face opposition, or how was that going? And what is a fire inspector, first of all?
Okay, a fire inspector is one. They said they some places call them fire marshals or fire inspectors. We actually keep the life safety codes and the building codes, and we go check the buildings, and we make sure that they have the things in place that they need. I actually did buildings from the ground up, hospitals like University of Maryland. I would go in the infrastructure and do all the testing of the sprinkler systems, the
Okay.
alarm systems, the emergency lighting, everything that in the buildup of this hospital. I had to check and make sure that they were correct. And as they're built, every year I would have to go in and inspect them, do a fire drill, go in the emergency room, check and make sure everything is operational, because they always got inspected by Joint Commission. So I had to do that too. So the life safety of the city is like basically in my hands. And like I said, I inspected every hospital, nursing home, daycare center, alcohol drug treatment program, mental health program, assistant living, 9 beds or more, um, daycare centers. I did all of that by myself. And so I kept asking for help. And it's a lot of those facilities. And I would ask for help, and they would give me people to train. I train the people, and I think that's going to be somebody to help me. Well, nobody ever came to help me. And when I went to retire, I didn't feel bad about retiring. It was time for me to go. And when with the unit, what I was doing, they now have 6 people,
Wow.
doing what I did myself. 6 people. I said, yeah, I kept telling them I needed help, and they wasn't trying to ever give me help. And I was like, okay. But I did my job, and I did it well. And so that's why I left a legacy behind that nobody can't say, Sister Yvette did not do her job. Sister Yvette did her job, and I did it well.
Did you get any a comment like awards?
Accommodation, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
My
Yes.
whole unit got accommodation. I didn't get one single-handedly by myself, but it was my entire unit.
Wow. Okay. So
We had less fires this particular year. We didn't hardly. I think we had under 2 fires for the whole year, and in any
wow.
buildings or anything. So my whole unit, um, we got that accommodation.
Okay. What was your relationship like with okay, I'm putting my Chicago Fire at play here because I'm an avid watcher of Chicago Fire. So what was your relationship like with is it the chief of the battalion or whoever's in charge?
I didn't have no relationship. I have a relationship with the fire chief, Chief Niles now, who asked me to come back and be a community partner. and help them hire firefighters and paramedics for the city now. He asked me to do that for him. And I go back and it's an honor to go back to do that. But in that department and who I worked under, no ma'am. I
Well,
didn't
you're
have
way above him now. The chief himself coming to you, but that goes to show the quality of your character, your ability to do what it is you do. You work well. You're an honest person. So for a person, a young lady, I don't care what their race is, what kind of advice would you give them as far as a career as a firefighter or something in that line of work?
Okay. Well, people used to say when I would go out, they would say, "Oh, I can do your job as a fire inspector." And I said, "Can you be a firefighter?" They said, "No." Well, you have to be a firefighter first in order to go up the chain to be any of those other positions. You were going to come in as a firefighter. They now firefighter paramedics. So don't tell me you could do my job. You don't even know what I took for me to get where I am. So
Right.
I say, well, you can you be a firefighter? Most people say no. Even men tell me no. So I had to be a firefighter in order to go up to be a fire inspector. I didn't come in the door as a fire inspector.
How much did that equipment weigh?
The equipment with your turnout gear and your air pack is 75 pounds.
In addition to your own weight and the
Yeah,
coat, the rain jacket, and all of that stuff?
the turnout gear. Yes, ma'am. It's about well, the equipment itself is about 75 pounds.
Okay, so outside of that, what kind of workout did you do? Did you do have a routine, an exercise regimen and things?
Let's just say I was in pretty good shape when I went in. I did martial arts. I'm a third degree black belt. Um, I swim. I still swim now. I swim an
See,
hour nonstop 3 days a week, and I'm on the treadmill 30 minutes before I go into the pool to swim my hour workout.
wow. Yeah, you look like you could be dangerous. It's like, don't
I,
sneak up on you. Don't sneak up behind you. You might put somebody in their place. Well, it has certainly been a pleasure speaking with you. And I definitely would like to speak to you again, interview you again on this job, but also on your book reading. You talked about it a little bit, and I talked about it as well. But are there any questions that you have for me, or not that I'm being interviewed, but I really appreciate you just coming on and sharing.
yes, ma'am. I just want to say that as a female trying for any position, you can do anything you put your mind to. You know, you pray to God. You know that you're asking Him that for what you want,
Okay.
and then you make it happen because God answer all prayer. I could never have made it through the years I did in the fire department without having a strong faith base. And the Nation of Islam taught me to be a strong woman, to know myself, to know who I am, what I am, and who I am. So when you say I look like I'm a force to be reckoned with, yes, ma'am, I am.
Oh, you
I'm
are.
I am an MGT in the Nation uh of Islam. That's a Muslim girl in training.
Okay. So let me ask you this: how many years do you have to do before you can retire as a firefighter?
20 years.
Okay, you did 23.
Yes, ma'am, because they
You
had
you
some.
just look awfully young to be retired for 18 years. That's all I'm
Oh
just
my
saying.
gosh. I retired from another job since then. I worked for the state of Maryland and I was
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You're going to have to hold that thought. Looks like I'm losing you again. Uh-oh. Hold that thought. Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, we are concluding our interview with Sister Yvette Muhammad because she is Frozen again. And it was a great interview talking to her about her career as one of the 3 black fire, what do you call them? Firemen, firewomen. And then for her to be the first female or the first African American fire inspector. So I'm going to end on that note. I'm adding her back to the stream. Sister Yvette, I'm going to add her. I'm going to ask her to come back again and talk about her other career. As soon as I can tell her thank you again. Yeah.
A bus.
Yeah, you went Frozen, so I was going to end on you with the firefighter, as with the fire aspect, and I'll interview you again when it comes to you and your other career. Yes.
Okay. I'm at the bottom of the screen.
Yep. Okay. What I was saying was, I know you had another interesting career, and I was going to end this interview with your firefighter career and then let you come back again and talk about your other career.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm sure you have another whole story to talk about that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm just saying, for you can do anything, that you want to do, and don't ever let anybody say you can't do something, because you can.
That's right. You talking to somebody that firmly believes in that. I used to have this sign at work on my desk long time ago. It said, "You'll never know how far you can go until you get there." And I am a firm believer in that. As the man with the Snickers says, no regrets. I don't want to have any regrets or regrets that I didn't try and do something.
Yes,
So I applaud you, Sister Yvette Muhammad. Thank you very much for spending part of your Sunday evening with Praise from the Closet, DJ Straight, and Praise from the Closet. And we will have you back again. And thank you very much, and stay safe and enjoy your all of that swimming and all that other exercise and stuff that you do. Because again, you are definitely a good person, a great inspiration for people, not just females, but you are a great inspiration. Thank you. DJ Straight signing off.